Chelsea are sadly a club in a massive decline. They are looking right now at another season of mid-table mediocrity. After years and years of top four consistency, winning titles, smashing things up with Jose Mourinho, Chelsea have taken a turn for the worse, it could be said, and this season is looking no better. So there's no better time than to give Chelsea a good old Kempi rebuild. We're going to be trying to fix the absolute mess that Todd Boehly has created here at the club, spending over £1 billion in over just 18 months, which is absolutely wild. Trying to sign some of the best wonder kids, as you can tell from the thumbnail, and eventually rebuilding them back Champions League contenders. Now you can see from this screen, money isn't a massive thing here at Chelsea because a lot of it has already been spent. There's only £12 million in the bank. We've got £0 in transfer budget, 200k in wage budget, and that's because Todd Boehly has already spent a lot of money. And throughout this team is a plethora of brand new signings, a million wingers, a million fullbacks, a million centre backs, which, to be honest, with the injury list here at Chelsea, is probably needed. For Fofana out for 11 months, Chalobah for a few months, Badiashile for a few months, and the list goes on and on and on. And of course, star man Christopher Nkunku, the big signing of the summer, injured for 5 months with another long-term injury. So it's not been easy on Pochettino. Let's be honest, they are sitting down in 13th place. So I record this with a game in hand as they're due to play Spurs tonight, but things haven't gone well, have they, for the Pochettino experiment? So I'm going to be kicking them out and making my own 3-back attacking tactic. But using the wings, using them a fantastic wing backs here at Chelsea. The solid midfield of Fernandes and Caicedo. The ridiculous amount of centre backs they've got at the club, including probably the best one, and my favourite one of the bunch, Levi Colwill, who'll be starting 99% of the games because he is an absolute baller. And that is pretty much all we'll be doing for season number 1. There's going to be no ridiculous transfers. We're not going to be setting anything up crazy. We're going to be doing no jiggery pokery. We're going to be leaving things as they are for Chelsea to complete in the Premier League, the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, to seeing if we can slightly turn things around for this season, because it's not been good so far. But without further ado, let's get into it. Season number 1, what can we do with no signings and just a start? Well, season 1 has been completed, and guess who we got a tune out of? Mykhailo Mudryk, 23 starts, 7 off the bench, 22 goals and 6 assists. He was simply fantastic this season, looks to be developing very well, and even is classed as a leading Premier League left winger. So just give him a chance, wait for it, and Mudryk will come good, Chelsea fans. So will Christopher Nkunku. Now his injury record is a worry, but in 24 games he scored 20 goals and got 13 assists. Now obviously he'll be playing as our main striker for the majority of this simulation until we move into a brand new formation, which is going to come up later in the video. We're going to be sticking to this 3-back for season 1 and 2, and then moving to a very progressive 4-back after that. But to start things off, Mudryk and Nkunku absolutely smashing it. Now in terms of the Carabao Cup, things didn't quite go to plan. We knocked out in the 3rd round by West Ham on penalties, which is absolutely rubbish. Tottenham even won a trophy. So unless they've won the FA Cup of the Premier League, Spurs are more successful than us, which isn't ideal. Now in terms of the FA Cup, you'd like to think maybe we'd get past the 3rd round. No, we lost to Brighton in extra time. So the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup were all gone. So we had just the league to concentrate on, which I think was an absolute blessing, because we come 3rd. Just 3 points off league winners Manchester City and 2 points away from Liverpool, which is a very impressive first season here at Chelsea. You can see in the top goal scorers chart, Mudryk was 2nd behind Haaland and Nkunku was 3rd. Average ratings wise, they both absolutely smashed it as well, with 1st and 2nd, and Ben Chilwell 2nd in the assist chart behind Kevin De Bruyne, which is to be expected. He's a little bit good, the same as Erling Haaland, but a very successful first season in the league. Disappointing in the cups, which is annoying. 100% we'd like to win trophies, and the fact that Spurs have won one more recent than us is a little bit painful, but we're looking to right that wrong fairly soon. We scored the most goals in the league with 92 and conceded the 3rd most, first least on 43. Possession wise, we kept the ball fair bit, 55% possession, but the most important thing is 3rd in the points per game, which is very good. In terms of the data hub as well, things were looking absolutely fantastic. 2.42 goals scored per game, 1.13 goals conceded per game, and in just terms of the overall sort of share of where all the goals come from, Mudryk and Nkunku the most. Jackson with 17 goals, 6 assists. Sterling with 10 and 12. 17 assists down here for Ben Chilwell. Reece James stays fit for the majority of the season as well. but for some reason he got 3 assists, which is very, very odd. He did score 3 goals, but I'm not too sure why he didn't didn't get too many assists. It looks like the left-hand side was more overpowered for that. In terms of our best average ratings-wise, Nkunku, Mudryk, Jackson, Cole Palmer, and the very little game time he got. Sadly, it might change. Once this video is out, the actual full game will be out. I am still in the beta version. Hopefully they upgrade Cole Palmer a little bit, but I don't know if they do that between beta and main save. Ben Chilwell looks fantastic this season. Malo Gusto in the games he played was very, very good. Sterling, Badiashile was our top centre-back, and Levi Colville played 21 games, 5 of the bench, a 7 average rating as a 21-year-old centre-back. I think Chelsea fans would take that, and obviously it's a very, very good foundation to build off. We are in the Champions League next season. We are looking to hopefully progress as a club. And Todd has given us £63 million spend and £193,000 in wage budget. Now, if you actually look at the squad and sort of the star ratings, the main thing for me that really needs sorting out is goalkeeper. Robert Sanchez is a 2-star, maybe a brand new centre-back. But the midfield, the wingers, and the striking positions are very, very strong. So there's not too much to go ahead and improve. It just seems like for Chelsea in real life, it's not quite going right, which sometimes can happen. And you can tell from behind me, I'm a Manchester United fan. I know exactly how it feels currently. So things have just got to start clicking, and it looks like the Chelsea team is good enough. But we're not here just to be good enough. We're here to lift trophies. So let's make some signings for season number 2. Now, the first thing I'd be doing as Chelsea manager is having a big old clear out of players that just simply aren't good enough to be a Champions League player, like Malang Sarr, who have sold for £7 million to Al Qasadiya, I believe, in Qatar. We've sold Romelu Lukaku because I don't want him here at the club for £22.5 million, which is very, very little, to Real Madrid, where hopefully he can go and prove everyone wrong about his fantastic career. We've sold very, very good youngster Jimmy J Morgan for between £7 and £15 million, which, to be honest, is an outrageous amount of money for someone of this quality. I'm very surprised we've got this amount of money for him, but also very, very happy. We've sold Mark Cucurella for £22 million to Al Hilal. Again, a decent enough left back, but probably not good enough, and Ben Chilwell was certainly better. And Trevor Chalobah is left for a ridiculous sum of money of £51 million to head to Manchester United. He was actually very, very good last season, a 7.03 average rating, but for me, he's not quite the quality. So Big Trev has gone, and he has been replaced by Portuguese wonderkid Antonio Silva. This guy is an absolute baller. You all know who he is. He was fantastic on last year's FM. Guess what? This year's FM, he's even better. £44 million, I believe, is his release clause, which is an absolute steal. So Antonio Silva has come in to join Chelsea. He looks fantastic. Great composure, so he's very good on the ball. Great natural fitness, stamina, heading, defending, marking. All of it is fantastic. Now we did sell Mark Cucurella for £22 million. So Gij Smal is in for £6 million. Just an absolute bargain. And this guy is a very, very well-rounded left back. Not quite as good as Cucurella, but in a £16 million swing in terms of ingoing and outgoing money, it's a no-brainer to bring in someone like this who's happy to be a complete utter backup to Ben Chilwell. And Ben Chilwell gets more game time because last season he didn't get too much. And the only other thing, like I mentioned, was a goalkeeper, which I thought needed a big old upgrade. And again, keeping things with Wonder Kids, Philippe Jorgensen has come in from Villarreal. This guy looks like an unbelievable goalkeeper and simply an absolute talent. 22 years of age, 16 area reach, 16 handling, 16 one-on-one, 16 reflexes, great agility and strength as well. He's 6'2", 77 kg, was Villarreal's goalkeeper last year, 18 games, conceded only 10 goals. Could have improved very, very slightly. Swedish international, their #1 goalkeeper with 8 caps at the age of 22, and I'm very, very impressed with the signing of Jorgensen. It leaves the team looking like so. Jorgensen in goal, Badiashile, Wesley Fofana, and Levi Colville as the back 3. Reece James and Chilwell as the 2 fullbacks. Fernandes, Caicedo, Sterling, Mudryk, and Nkunku. A very, very similar team to real life, with the added addition of a very good goalkeeper. Brought up Slonina to be our star backup goalkeeper. Silva, Disasi, and Thiago Silva are our 3 backups. Gusto and Guy Smal are the 2 backup wing-backs. Lavia and Chukwuemeka as our 2 backup centre-mids, with Angelo, the Brazilian wonderkid, Madueke, and Nicholas Jackson as our backup attackers. And I'd like to keep, because we're in European football now, a few extra players around. So Jason Cumming, Leslie Ogawuchu, Cole Palmer, and David Washington, another Brazilian wonderkid who Chelsea have signed recently, are all here in the first team available for under 21s football. And this season's going to be great. Very, very excited to be back in the Champions League. Hopefully we can do better than the 3rd round in the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. Top 3 again in the Premier League would be fantastic. let's see what we can do. Well, I tell you what, the Carabao Cup just isn't our competition. Back-to-back seasons, knocked out in the third round on penalties, and this time to Burnley. And it's very frustrating because I'd just like to win something, because even Arsenal have now won the Carabao Cup, which is very, very annoying. So Spurs and Arsenal, two clubs in London that have won stuff over us, and the FA Cup, we're not going to win that either. Knocked out in the quarter-final by Manchester United 1-0. A very, very tight game, a very, very annoying game, one that we probably should have gone ahead and done a little bit better in. I mean, looking at the stats, we were a little bit dominated. We done quite well on possession, but we were, I mean, you can see from the pass map on the bottom right, a very attacking side, a very wide side, a narrow United side we should have done better against, and sadly, we didn't. So the FA Cup went the same way. The question is, did we win the Champions League? Because that would be quite some feat, wouldn't it? No, we didn't. We lost to Barcelona 3-2 on aggregate, which is so annoying. We even got a 2-2 draw at the Nou Camp to then go and lose 1-0 at Stamford Bridge. Oh, it's just falling short every single time, which is very frustrating. Obviously, that is the brand new Champions League as well, with the 36 league table, which is very, very odd. But it does mean that if you get top 5 in the Premier League, you do get to keep Champions League football, and that come in absolutely clutch for us this season, because we come 5th on 69 points, the same as Liverpool, the same goal difference. Liverpool just didn't win on the head-to-head, and then we beat Arsenal by 1 singular point. Aston Villa stormed it with 3rd, United in 2nd, City is now 5 in a row. Haaland's just too good, to be honest, and it's very, very frustrating. Now, in terms of the goals and stuff we've had through our club, Mudryk had a little bit of a downturn in terms of goals this season, 15 in 36 matches rather than 22 in 23, which is a little bit disappointing, but it is to be expected. That was a very, very good season. Luckily, Sterling picked things up with 15 goals and 5 assists. Nkunku, 20 goals and 9 assists. Decent enough for a striker, but maybe it shows he's maybe better as a central attacking midfielder. And Nicholas Jackson as the backup with 12 goals and 7 assists. Caicedo, 9 assists and 7 goals. And in terms of assists with the fullbacks, Reece James this season outdid Chilwell by 1, scored again 8, and Chilwell with 7. So a little bit of a downturn in productivity everywhere with the club, but we did have probably 15 more games overall in this season, so it's sort of to be expected. And I mean, again, Todd hasn't really done us much of money either. £31 million, a negative wage budget to go ahead and spend. The issue at Chelsea really is what an absolute mess the club is in with money, because on FM, it doesn't just give you £1 billion to go and spend every summer. That could happen in real life with Chelsea, but FFP might come and bite them. Currently, we are doing okay on FFP, just about. We are doing slight losses, but we move. Hopefully, we're not going to get stung by FFP. And just finances-wise, we are a bit stuck. We spent £80 million last summer. I think it's going to be a very, very similar summer this summer, purely based on the fact the money-wise we haven't got a lot. Jorgensen was fantastic this season, 7.08, and Colville, Antonio Silva, and Badiashile is a very exciting back three. When you actually look through this team, it could just be a slight formation change, and these youngsters keep flourishing, because it is a very exciting young squad here at Chelsea. And I think you can tell that along with the age of the first team as well. 23, 24, 21, 22, 25, 28, 24, 23, 30 in Sterling, 24 and 27. So it's a very, very young squad. There is a 40-year-old Thiago Silva who is sadly retiring this year. But other than that, everyone is under 30 other than Raheem Sterling. Maybe that's an issue in itself, not enough experience. We shall see. We'll have another transfer window here going into season 3 and see what we can do to hopefully... I don't know how to improve it really, because it's such a fantastic squad. And the main way you can improve it is by selling a couple of players. Now, Aisha Samuel Smith, I'm sure is a fantastic wonder kid in real life. We managed to just fleece £11 million off Brentford for him. He looks okay. £11 million is outrageous. So a very, very good sale there. And then getting $28 million for Conor Gallagher. Again, seems like a little bit of robbery, because he's an okay midfielder, but Caicedo, Fernandes, Uguachu, Kanu Chukwuemeka, Lavia, Cole Palmer. There's so many midfielders here at Chelsea that can play in a very, very similar role to Gallagher. They're getting £34 million. Yeah, we'll take that all day long. And it allows us to spend £82 million on a bit of fun. The best wonder kid on the game. The best wonder kid you might ever see. LAMINE YAMAL. This guy is an absolute superstar. 16 first touch, 16 dribbling, 20 flair, 17 agility, 16 technique. Him, Mudryk, Sterling and Madueke is a very, very exciting front four behind a striker. Now, we have still kept with the free back this season because we only got £30 million to go ahead and spend. I spent 80 on LAMINE YAMAL, which, yes, it was a lot, but with the £40 million sold from Gallagher, and to give us a better player, well, a more progressive player than Raheem Sterling, and someone maybe better than Mykhailo Mudryk after that first couple of seasons, maybe we can still improve. So LAMINE YAMAL is in. And that was pretty much the only signing we made. We also signed Thiago Borbas as a backup striker. He looks all right, doesn't he? He's okay. He's got decent enough balance, finishing, determination, passing. He's just all right. And for £9 million, hopefully he can be a good enough backup. And then we made a simply ridiculous loan at a free signing on Hiroko Ito. Now, this guy starts at Stuttgart on the game. He went on loan to Al Hilal and was on ridiculous money. So we got him on a free contract because he was on just a 2-year deal at Al Hilal, but we are paying him £350,000 a week. But he looks simply outrageous. If you guys haven't used Ito in this year's game, go and get him. He looks mental, which leaves the team looking very, very similar again. Jorgensen, Badiashile, Silva, Colville, James, Chilwell, Fernandez, Caicedo, LAMINE YAMAL, Jackson, and Nkunku. Slovenia is the backup keeper. Fofana, Disasi, Ito, Gusto, Schmal, Lavia, Kasedi is back from his loan spells this year. Sterling, Mudryk, Borbas, Cumming, Ugawuchu, Angelo and David Washington. Cole Palmer has been loaned out and he's also listed. He's going to Leicester. So goodbye, Cole Palmer. Sadly, just doesn't progress in FM how he will in real life. He looks outrageously good. And Kaisedi, yeah, this guy looks like he's going to progress. He's at Leicester in real life. We learned about last season to Sheffield United, and now he looks like an absolute monster. Potential to be a 4.5-star player. So we're going to keep an eye on Cesar Kasedi. This year, we have got the Premier League, Champions League, FA Cup, and Carabao Cup to compete with. Again, hopefully we've got a bit of a better squad. We've got an absolute superstar WONDERKID in our hands, LAMINE YAMAL. So, let's see what he can do. And of course, for FM24, these variable files are back on Patreon. A massive thank you to the legends on screen who have supported me throughout the last month and a half, 2 months, where there's not even been many rebuilds. You guys have still kept up the support and you are absolute legends. Now, if you guys do want to help support the channel and help me sort of try and make it in this creator world, I mean, this is my absolute dream job, and hopefully one day, through the help of Patreon and your guys' support on YouTube, we can make that a thing. You get these rebuild files from the end of season number 5 to go ahead and use. But if you want a specific season, like I've just signed LAMINE YAMAL, if you want to start from when I got YAMAL, let me know. I've got it all saved in different files, so I can give it to you in end of season 2, end of season 3, end of season 1, start of season 1. If you'd want that for some reason, just let me know on Patreon if you are a member, and I can send it over via email. And a massive thank you to you absolute legends. The link to support is just down below, and it helps me out so much as a creator. So thank you, and let's get right back into the rebuild. Well, what he can do is very, very special. 15 goals and 17 assists as a 17-year-old turning 18 in the Premier League. Yeah, this kid's quite good. 16 dribbling now, 17 first touch, 16 technique, 20 flair, 17 on the ball. Unbelievable pace, and I cannot believe how good this guy is on FM. If you haven't yet, just treat yourself. Sign LAMINE YAMAL. He's already got 4 caps and a goal for Spain at 18 years of age, and like I said, is a 17-year-old turning 18 in this season, which is simply crazy. So LAMINE YAMAL had a great season, but Chelsea in the league didn't. We come 7th in the league, which is absolutely rubbish. Level on points with 5th. Again, similar as last season. Only 3 points, to be fair, off of last season's total. A long way off of our first season, which means the backups aren't as good as the first team because we're playing more games and things aren't quite going to plan. So a 7th place finish on 66 points, the same as West Ham, Leeds and Villa. I would like to think we're not quite one of them clubs. Alex Isak actually did the same amount of goals as Haaland, so it's good to see. And Willy Gnonto smashed it for Leeds, so hence why they're in 6th place. And Manchester United finally stopped the 5-year dominance of Manchester City, which is fantastic to see. Now, the question is, what can we do in terms of trophies? We know so far it's been very, very rough. 3rd round in the Carabao Cup every time. 3rd rounded or quarter-final in the FA Cup both times. Well, this season things were a little bit different. We done quite well. We even got to a final. We played against Chelsea and we won 4-3. In the FA Cup final, we lift a trophy finally, which is fantastic to see. A first goal for Levi Colville and then Gabby Jesus from the penalty spot. Arsenal going to make it 2-1 with a great ball down the right-hand side to Pedro Goncalves. He's going to cut inside, get to the byline, gets it back into Gabby Jesus for 2-1 Arsenal. Not done there yet. Badiashile into Antonio Silva, finds Enzo Fernandez. Back to Antonio Silva, down the line to James, to Sterling, to Nkunku. Goal. Fantastic finish, and it's 2 all in quick succession. Reece James with the throw-in finds Enzo Fernandez, back to James, into Nkunku, into Mudryk. Fantastic play again. One touch, thrilling football, but Chelsea are going to bottle it. It's going to be Nketiah on the ball to find Kai Havertz. Chelsea's old man. He won him a Champions League. How dare he? Goes in and scores it for 3-all, but we know we don't bottle it. We do win this game, and Mudryk on the ball finds left-hand side. Levi Colville making a bursting run down the line, cuts it back into Borbas, who gets a shot away. He then balls back into Cesar Kasaidi, who come off the bench, shoots. It costs a timber own goal, which I think is rubbish, because that is Kaisaidi's goal all day long. We dominated them, and we finally won a trophy, which is fantastic to see, because it would have been a bit worrying if we went another season with no trophies. Now, the Carabao Cup, we got quarter-finaled again by Manchester United, the exact same as last year, which is frustrating, but it's okay. We won the important one. The FA Cup is a much bigger cup, and we actually got round of 16, sadly, by Bayern Munich in the Champions League, who went on to win the whole thing, so to lose the winners isn't the worst thing in the world, but certainly a slightly frustrating season this season. And in terms of goals coming from everyone, Nkunku and Jackson both with 19. Jackson 19 in 16 starts, 9 off the bench. LAMINE YAMAL was then next. An 18-year-old outscoring and out-assisting both Sterling and Mudryk is a little bit worrying. So as much as he's very good, some improvements to be made, and especially in that striking position. Badiashile done very well. 11 assists for Reece James, 12 assists for Ben Chilwell. Them two going back and forth with assists. Who's going to get more? Currently, we're on Chilwell. Transfers-wise, Todd's opened up the checkbook. £110 million to go ahead and spend. Madueke has not progressed in the slightest and is going for £7 million to Bournemouth, while Palmer is going to go for hopefully 26 to Leicester. So some money to go ahead and spend this summer, which is good news because it's not been the case in the last 2 summers. We need to go and get a big striker. Now, I also can't quite believe it's taken me to season 4 to sign a brand new striker for Chelsea, when clearly that's a bit of an issue in real life of scoring goals. So I maybe only apologise, Chelsea fans, but I've got Victor Osimhen for you. The best striker in the world. The one that I know Chelsea fans want to see come to the club. And on FM, he's quite good. 19 finishing, 20 off the ball. Fantastic pace and composure, and really would elevate this Chelsea side a ridiculous amount. He does cost a fair whack, £86 million, but I think if you look at his past seasons, he's probably good enough to come here and do it in the Premier League. So Victor Osimhen was our big signing of the summer, and to be honest, that was the main big signing, because after that it was a couple of backups. Pau Cabrasi is another wonderkid Spanish player from Barcelona. We signed him for £10 million for the Barcelona Athletic Club, and he looks very, very good to come in here and hopefully be a good enough backup in the centre-back positions. And then Marc Bernal was a signing for £9 million, raising to 15. Midfielder, decent on the ball. Again, he's alright. He's just a young Spanish backup, and we're trying to get LAMINE YAMAL more Barcelona players. That's what I'm telling myself anyway as I sit here and remember why we signed them too. But in the goal now, the team looks very, very good. The 4-2-3-1 has come out to play, and Jorgensen in goal, James, Silva, Badiashile and Chilwell as the back four, Fernandez and Caicedo midfield, Yamal on the right, Nkunku and Cam, Mudryk on the left, Osimhen up top. We have massively improved this Chelsea side. Slonini as the backup goalkeeper, Gusto, Fofana, Disasi and Ito as the backup defenders. Bernal and Caicedo as the 2 backup midfielders. Sterling, Cabrasi, Jackson and Levi Colville for some reason as the backup striker, which isn't the case obviously. Becoming Iguichu, Borbas and David Washington. Of course, there's a lot of players at this club still, and a lot of centre-backs at this club. Disasi, Fofana, Silva, Badiashile and Levi Colville. I mean, hopefully we get good game time for all of them. Reece James and Chilwell are still the best 2 fullbacks, probably in the league. Nkunku can now play in that cam role and hopefully go ahead and dominate. And Osimhen, I want to see 40 goals. And Yamal, keep doing what you're doing. You're now 19. You're in your prime. Season 4. Let's go and win it all. Well, the first order of business is to go ahead and win a European trophy. Now, it's not the Champions League and the one that, of course, we want to go ahead and win eventually, but it is the Europa League. A 4-0 victory against Monaco in a very, very convincing win. A goal there from the edge of the box. Then we've got Caicedo with a free kick, which is an outrageous free kick, finding the top corner. Then got a ball from Yamal into Jackson to Caicedo. Long-range goal. Another one. He is fantastic, isn't he? Caicedo, Nkunku, Osimhen down the left-hand side. He's going to cut things back to LAMINE YAMAL, who's going to just shoot from wherever he wants to, because it's going to go in. He's absolutely fantastic. A fantastic victory there against Monaco. Caicedo is really developing into one of them standout performers. He's pretty much overtaken what's his name? Moises Caicedo at this point. He is that good. Use him if you're doing a Chelsea save. And then LAMINE YAMAL was fantastic. Great game against Monaco. Winning the Europa League. You know, it's nice to tick off the list. It's a trophy off the list, which is good. The Community Shield, we didn't win. Obviously won the FA Cup last year. City won. City won the. I thought United won the league, to be honest. Oh, it was. I'm tripping balls, all right. United did win the league. We lost 3-2 in the Community Shield, which is a little bit annoying. Would have been good to win that one. And the reason City are on my mind is because they knocked us out in the 4th round of the Carabao Cup on penalties. Again, every time. Penalties. Rubbish. So frustrating. 1-0 on penalties against City, who didn't even go on to win it. FA Cup, yeah, we can go ahead and win that. Semi-final by Southampton, who went on to beat Manchester United in the final. Like, what on earth? How frustrating is that? We could have had a Europa League and an FA Cup in one season, potentially won a sort of treble, because the league, yeah, no, we didn't win it. We come 3rd. Man City are just ridiculous. I don't think you're ever going to catch them. United won it once, but other than that, City in this past winners column, they're ruining football. It's horrible. Ruining it. Screw Man City. Screw Haaland. Screw Pep. It's too good. They're all too good. And that is even with us having the top goal scorer in the league. Victor Osimhen was fantastic. Nkunku, 21 assists in Cam. Sterling, 7 player of the matches. We were very, very good this year. And Osimhen scored 34 goals and 8 assists in 39 starts, which is incredible. Exactly what I wanted from him, to come in and give us that finishing quality. Now, the issue seems to be sort of defending, maybe. 2.55 goals scored per game, 1.24 conceded. It's not that bad of a graph, but when you look through these stats, it's outrageous. 34 goals for Osimhen, 28 for Nicholas Jackson, 19 and 35 assists for Nkunku, 15 and 14 for Sterling, 14 and 16 for Yamal, 11 and 16 for Mudryk. We just couldn't defend by the looks of it. And if we go through the average ratings list, there's not many defenders on this list in the slightest. Badiashile was our best. Colville played 47 games. Don't worry, Chelsea fans. He is still the starting centre-back. How good does he look now? He's absolutely fantastic. This guy is an absolute talent. 3 caps for England. Gareth Southgate, sort yourself out. Probably quite realistic, to be honest. Caicedo only started 12, but 36 at the bench. Fantastic. Again, if you're doing a Chelsea save or you see this guy come available, get him. He's fantastic. He progresses really, really well. And in terms of everyone else progressing, we've got 16 assists for Yamal. I mean, this kid's just so special. I can't believe how good he is. He is just simply outrageous. Please do yourself a favour. And at some point in this FM, obviously last year it was like Vitor Roque and it was Endrick. LAMINE YAMAL is that guy this year. Go and sign him, enjoy it, and just have fun, right? That is what FM is all about. Transfer-wise, Todd's been a little bit snidey again. £56 million, £316,000 in the wage budget to go ahead and spend. We've failed a little bit so far, I think. We won an FA Cup in the Europa League. Season 5, I think we're much closer. City are just ridiculous, so it is going to be difficult, but hopefully we can go ahead and try and catch them. Let's get into it then. Season 5. What transfers can we make to bring us closer? And believe it or not, even in 2027, we are still trying to clear off dead wood. Kepa has finally left for £30 million. Even with this hiring intermediaries, there is so many players here at Chelsea that you just do not need. He has been loaned out for so many years, is now finally gone. £30 million to Wolves he's gone to. In terms of the other sales, we have sold Hirako Ito, who was a little bit disappointed at his game time. He played 64 games in 2 years, so don't know why he was crying so much. But he's gone back to Saudi, this time to Al Ittihad for £41.5 million. I think that's quite a good business from us. We basically got him for free and 2 years later sold him after he'd done very well. So thank you, buddy, but you're now out of the door. Armando Broja has finally left to go to Hertha Berlin. Again, this guy's decent in real life, but probably not a Champions League quality striker, so he has finally left us. Andre Santos is a fantastic young Brazilian midfielder. We've had to loan him out. We've had to finally sell him after being loaned out loads. Hasn't really progressed, so he's gone. And the same for Big Leslie. Again, I think this guy's a right talent in real life, but it's hard to get him the game time. He played 1 game in the Premier League over the 4 years, which isn't realistic, but Leslie is also gone. Now, in terms of signings, that gave us about 200 million to our hand spend, and there's a certain youngster, a bit like LAMINE YAMAL, who I think this year is going to be the go-to guy. His name is Shaquille, and his dad is Van Persie. It's Shaquille Van Persie, everyone. How's this guy on FM? How crazy is that? This guy is fantastic, and he looks absolutely brilliant as well. It's the Van Persie regen. Is his dad He's got 2 caps for England. He's English Dutch. I mean, it's absolutely mental. Big Shaquille is here. He looks fantastic. Great finishing, great dribbling, great pace, great composure, great determination, decisions. I mean, to see one of my favourite strikers of all time, son in the game, is absolutely mind-blowing. We signed him for £47 million, but I think you'll agree that was absolutely worth it. Needs a backup left back for Ben Chilwell, 18 years of age, Vinicius. Now, I don't think this guy is actually real. To be honest, I think that picture is a bit bugged from... I've just copied my pictures over, so that might not be a real person. But Vinicius, as the left back, looks like a good enough backup. And in terms of the other 2 signings we made, we signed João Pedro from Brighton, £23 million. A decent enough backup cam. I think this guy is a very, very good player. He did well for Brighton over his years, but wanted to leave the club. And £23 million for someone who's extremely consistent, loves a big match, is now 25 years of age, I think is decent. It's a bit like Richarlison from Everton to Spurs, but on a much smaller scale in terms of money, a lot less pressure, and hopefully a much better signing. And then the other one we signed is Morato. This guy is a very, very good backup centre-back. £50 million to go ahead and spend on him as well. We've got another one from Benfica. We've got him and Antonio Silva at the back, but he looks very, very good. A bit of a destroyer. Very, very young as well, being just 26 in 2027, so he's 22 maybe in real life. He looks fantastic. He's going to be our 5th choice behind Antonio Silva, Badiashile, Colville, Fofana, Morato. I mean, we could play Reece James there. Disasi still here. It's wild the amount of centre-backs we've got, but it leaves the squad looking like so. Jorgensen in goal, James, Silva, Colville, Chilwell. That is such a nice back 5. Caicedo and Fernandez still in front, Yamal on the right, Jackson on the left, and Nkunku in the cam, and Osimhen up top. The squad looks great. Slonina is the backup goalkeeper, Gusto, Fofana, Morato, Vinicius, Mark Bernal, Kasaidi, Sterling are still here, João Pedro, Mudryk, and Big Shaq. We've still got Disasi and Badiashile, who I'm trying to get rid of. I've just told you the outrageous list of centre-backs we have got here at the club. But it's time for Season 5. We obviously won the Europa League last season. This year, we're back in the Champions League. We've come 3rd a couple of times. We now need to go ahead and try and win the Premier League. We haven't won the Carabao Cup yet, so that'll be good to go and win. Season 5, we've got to do a lot. I don't know if we're going to do it all, but it does end here. So Season 5, let's get into it. Right, well, quite frankly, it was absolutely rubbish. That's all I can say. It was very, very bad. I don't know what is wrong with Chelsea. Sorry, Chelsea fans, you're doomed. 6th in the league for season number 5. Champions League, quarter-final by Manchester City. Runners-up in the UEFA Super Cup, believe it or not, that's out of 2 teams. FA Cup, 5th rounded by Wolves. And Carabao Cup, semi-final by Liverpool. Honestly, I don't know how I could have done this rebuild much better. Osimhen looks fantastic. Shaquille Van Persie this season, 16 goals as a backup. Big, big fan. Yamal, 12 and 11. Didn't quite do it this season. Nkunku scored 19 and got 35 assists last season. This year, 12 and 11. What am I meant to do? Just do better on the pitch. They sadly didn't. The tactic, I think, is a very, very good tactic. I've used it in my Newcastle beta save. I've used it all around, and it's been very, very good. Nkunku this year was absolutely useless, which is very, very frustrating. And it meant Osimhen only scored 24 goals in 23 goals in 41 games, which isn't good enough, to be honest. But if he's not getting the service, what can you expect? Now, this save, like I said earlier on, is available on Patreon for you guys to go ahead and download. So you can do much better than me and go ahead and win everything, because I can't. So maybe you can. Install a better tactic. Use these fantastic wonder kids, Shaquille Van Persie, Lamine Yamal. There's so many here at Chelsea. Develop them all. Thank you for watching, and I'll speak to you next time.